Welcome to the Keep It Cute Show.
I'm Sabrina.
And I'm DaKiya. And today we are talking about a slightly uncomfortable conversation. I know I'm in my feelings a little bit, sis. We're going to breathe through it. But tonight we are talking about women's midlife crises. Like, do we have them? I think we do. We'll get into it. But typically we think about midlife crisis for men and that they're happening in their late 40s, early 50s, or even late 50s. And we know all the different like signs and symptoms. People talk about the men's midlife crisis. But women, do we have them? We need to talk about that. And if the average life expectancy is 80 years old, then that means like the middle of that is 40. Yeah.
Nope.
That's what they said, sis. That's what they said.
Nope. I was like, because my granny is still alive. She's in her late 80s. You know, say shout out to Maddie Lee Smith. And so therefore, I from my family, that's not quite midlife. Okay, so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with genetics.
Right, we're not going to talk about the average. But yeah, so I'm 42. So if we're going off the national average, then shoot, I'm in that window.
You close. But your granny lived a long time.
Yes, she did. Yes,
okay,
she did.
So you're not quite there yet. You close, girl. Yeah, it's right there. I can see it inside, but it ain't there for you yet.
We're towing the line.
Yeah, exactly.
We're towing the line in our stilettos. But but before we get into the conversation, let's have a little bit of fun. We like to do our little icebreaker of the week. So I'm going to ask you, sis.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going to ask you, if you could have an unlimited supply of anything in the world besides money, what would it be?
First class flights.
Girl, yes. That was my answer.
Was it?
Yes, that was my answer too.
First class flights, anywhere. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's my,
I thought wine, of course, clearly, because me. But first class flights to anywhere, wherever, whenever, whatever. Like Maxwell said, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A close second would be avocados.
Didn't see that one coming.
I eat avocado like every day.
Really?
I love avocados.
Okay.
Yeah, so I eat a lot of avocados. So I was like, oh, why pay for it? I should just have an unlimited.
The West Coast girl in you. I love it for you.
If we're talking about something random, yeah.
Right.
What's a close second for you?
Ooh, close second. Wine.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yeah,
yes.
I spend a lot of money.
I think
on
you
wine.
damn near have like an unlimited supply of wine coming to your house as it is. But I just said for free.
Yeah, and I'm in some wine clubs. I'm in a wine club, and like UPS knows, like, oh, here's your box.
Yeah,
like, thank you.
Yeah,
happiness awaits.
You're like right on time.
Right. Yes, but okay. So let's get into this topic. Sis. Okay. So why do you think that people go through these midlife crises? Like, what is it about? Like, why do we think we go through them?
So I want to say, like, I don't know if women go through midlife crises. You know what I mean? I think that women change so much in the course of their lifetime that I don't know if they really have this moment where they're like having this like critical like change. I think we just change so much that maybe we have quarter life crises. I don't know. I just don't know if we're like really, there's this one point. I think that like when you hit puberty, that's like a whole different change. You know what I'm saying? I think like when you get older and you're out in the world as a young woman, I think that's a different change. You know, I think hitting that age bracket where you're like, you know, hitting like an older pregnancy or whatever, like that your ideal fertility window is closing. That's another one. When you lose your period and you're going into menopause, I'm sure that's another one. Like we have so many like punctuations of like change in our lives because of our bodies and how the world treats us. Like I don't know if we have a midlife crisis.
That's interesting.
But for men though, I think men absolutely do have midlife crises, and I think it happens like around the 40-year mark.
No, I completely agree with that. Like the men, it's a clear timeline. I think that they realize, you know, that they may or may not have hit certain like goals that they set up for themselves, or they might be looking around at different people like, I thought it was going to be here, or they're kind of seeing that their body ain't doing what it used to do. You know, they ain't flexing the muscles like they used to. They starting to, you know, take a little longer getting out of bed in the morning. You know,
they can't get up off the ground. They like kind of like roll into a seat. You know what I'm saying? How they like cover to stand up for a seated position.
Younger people calling them unk now.
Yeah.
So I think that men definitely have that, and then they're like the symptoms or whatever, or the way that it kind of presents itself is they do something crazy. They want to prove that they still got it. They want to prove that they, can get a flashy car, or they
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Run out and buy a sports car.
Right, go out and buy a sports car, have an affair, try to dress in skinny jeans, whatever the trend is at the time, even though they're still jeans. Wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like they try to dress young, but they still looking like them, or the old guy in the club still trying to prove that he can pull some girls.
So sad.
So sad. I can see that for men, but when we think about it for women, like you said, I could see that we have these different chapters in our lives.
Yeah,
that we have that
is a good way of saying it.
Change and awareness. But I think for women, it's more so I don't think it's we didn't do everything that we thought we were going to do. For me, I think that we're a little bit more, especially I can only speak for my circle of women, we're a little more ambitious. So I think that the goals that we've set for ourselves, we pretty much have gotten those, or have accomplished, or have gotten close enough to them that we can kind of adapt those goals. But I think for me, this mid frame of my life, it's more so of just an awareness of who I am. It's not like a crisis of I'm not where I am. It's like, no, I know who I am. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I don't think that it's a crisis. I think it's an like awareness, an awakening.
Awakening, yeah.
Absolutely. It's a midlife awakening for women. We don't have that, oh my gosh, we didn't do this like men do, and we got to prove our... I think it's like, oh no, I know who the fuck I am. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I have this awareness, and I don't care. We give the I don't give a fuck era of I don't care what other people think of me. I don't care, if, I'm not doing this and you're doing that. I'm standing 10 toes down on who I am. And it's that awakening awareness of this is who I am. I'm finally comfortable in my skin, and I don't care about what's going on elsewhere. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that with men, there are two things that trigger it. It's like, one, they don't have the level of success that they anticipated having, or let me not even say success. Their life doesn't look like what they thought it was going to look like. So that could be the amount of money in the bank, which is usually for men, right? Mm-hmm. Or, the family that they wanted to have, right? Like around the 40 mark is when they were like, dang, I thought I'd at least be married by now, if not like with someone and ready to start a family, And I hate to say this, but also like, if it's still working. Like I feel like I'm just gonna keep it real. I feel like that's another trigger for men. I think around that 40-year mark is when things start to work a little different down there, and they start to feel a little older. And I think that also kind of like triggers them to wanting to act young and be young and and prove to themselves that like they still got it. You know what I'm saying? Whereas women, I think that from a young age, you're kind of taught that like beauty is fleeting, youth is fleeting, and so you can't just like, hang your hat on that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of knowing that like there's always, I don't know. I just feel like women have to face that realization earlier. By the time you're 30 as a woman, you're facing that. You know what I mean? Whereas men, I feel like you can still be in your 30s and still be considered like a young guy. Like once you hit 40, it's harder for men to consider themselves a young guy. For women, if you're in your 30s, you're not considered a young woman anymore.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so
they literally call you at 35 geriatric.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for us, like we just have to face the music a little bit sooner in life in terms of like how society is viewing us. You know what I mean? And like what are the milestones that you hit while you're there? Are you married? Did you have children? Do you own your own business? Are you whatever the case? Do you own your own home? Like I feel like we get presented with that a little bit easier, like earlier in life.
I agree. But I also think that with men, sometimes they don't have that wild and crazy, go buy a sports car, go, climb a mountain, jump out of an airplane. Some of them don't have that need to do something wild and crazy. Some of them actually just get depressed. Some of them actually just get sad and withdrawn. I think it presents itself differently from different people. So I don't want to just categorize all men saying they're going to go have an affair and buy a Lamborghini. Some of them literally just get depressed, and then that triggers their circle around them.
Or they gain weight and also other stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That hairline.
That's another one. The hairline's a big one for guys.
Let it go, bro. Let it go.
The hairline's big for guys. That's when they really start to feel older. Starting to get the gray hair too. You know what I mean? I mean, we all die and stuff like that. But for men, I think it's a little bit harder for them sometimes to have to like embrace that part. Like, yeah, boo, you need to start spraying.
Yeah.
The spray.
And I think for us, like, I know I don't have a lot of gray hair, but I have a couple in this ding dong eyebrow. It pisses me off, but I can like fill it in. And I think that we have the ability with makeup to kind of cover
Yeah.
up our grays a little bit more. I
Yes.
mean, they got the Just for Men, I guess, but I think for them, they don't have the
Culturally, it's still kind of like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, I love a good salt and pepper on a man, and I love a bald head. So I mean, it's a win-win for me. But yeah.
I'm less of a fan of a bald head. I like
Really?
hair, but I will go with a bald head if like it's there. But I like hair.
In my 20s, I was dating a guy, and I made him shave his head just because I loved a bald head, and he did it. It grew back. I mean, it's just hair.
You see Walter. Walter's grown his hair all the way out because I'm like,
He has had every hairstyle. I've known this man for a couple years. I've seen him bald. I've seen him with curls. I've seen him with braids. I mean, this man has had every hairstyle.
2-strand twist at all.
Yes.
Yes. He
Like,
switches it up all the
it's
time.
versatile.
I'm like, yeah, baby, go ahead, switch it up. Give me something new today. But I agree with that. I think for me, like, I'm trying to think about what a midlife crisis would look like for a woman. Like, I don't necessarily know if we have midlife crises. Like, I don't believe that, but I feel like I see women going through things dependent on where they're at in their relationships. I feel like, to me, that's where I see the largest shifts happening for women, or where they're at in their motherhood. And I know we've talked about this before, right? Like, I see women whose kids are, they're new empty nesters, and they are like changing completely because they want to like relive their youth. So I see some of that. And then I see women who are like completely consumed by their children and being a mother and being these things that they kind of like lose themselves a little bit. And I feel like there's like this, I don't know, like it's bottled up, or they just feel the need to like break out or something like that. I see some of that too, but I don't know if it's like, I can't name an age. I can't be like, yeah, we hit this midlife crisis around this time. I feel like it just depends on what the woman's going through.
Yeah, what their era is.
Yeah.
I think another way it could present itself for women is, I kind of talked about it just a second ago, but the not accepting things that no longer serve them. You know what I mean? So like, if they're in a relationship that's not working out, it's like, I'm halfway through my life. I don't need to stay in something that's not serving me, or a job. Like, you know what? If I died tomorrow, they would go on without me. So I'm going to do this vacation or whatever. I think that when it comes to relationships, whether it's business or romantic, that crisis or awareness or awakening that we're going to call it. We're not going to call it crisis. We're not saying that word anymore. It's just this midlife awakening for women can manifest itself by leaving situations that no longer serve them.
But to me, that's like not even a bad thing.
It's not. It's not. That's why I don't want to say it's a crisis.
Yeah, I was like, but do you feel like women have a point where they react negatively to things? I'm trying to find that, like, because I agree with you. Like, when I meet women who are, 5, 10, 15 years older than me, they were like, the self-awareness and the ability to make decisions that's best for you, and to like create the life that you want to have, and having like a sense of just like grounding and like, this is what's meant for me and this is who I am. Like, it only gets better with age. You know what I mean? So I do agree with that, but I was like, but is there another side of that where you feel like women aren't doing that well? Oh, I just thought of it.
What?
Sometimes I love it. And I'm considered an auntie now. I love aunties, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like I see women who can't let go of that when it comes to like their clothing or their hair or the way that they're dressed. Like, come on. I think I see a little bit of that in women when you're just like, all right, sis, like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have no body shame, but like, you kind of doing a lot right now. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
I was like, you're doing a lot right now. I don't know if that's really the most flattering outfit for you right now.
Right. True.
I see some of that in women who just can't let it go.
Yeah.
They don't know how to let it go. They don't know how to like change their attire to like fit their new body.
I completely agree with that.
That's one that I have seen for women as they're aging, when they're kind of in denial. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
that's the one I can think of.
I'm trying to think. Is there any other ones? I do have a friend that really started to go out more, like really, really, really outside. Never was outside before, but wanted to go. But I don't think that's a bad thing. Like, if you are going to go out dancing or enjoy life, I don't think that it's a bad thing, as long as you're not doing anything reckless or crazy. So I don't. You're right. And I'm not saying that a man's crisis of, as long as you can afford it, the Lamborghini or the crazy outfits or whatever, or starting dating a really young girl, as long as you're not cheating, as long as you're single. I guess that's not necessarily bad. It's not necessarily hurting anybody.
If you're a single man, and you want to have a sports car because it brings you joy,
and
you can afford it, I'm not judging you. if you're a single man and you're able to attract a PYT, you know what I'm saying, a cute little thing, and you keep up with her,
that part,
I can't hate on you for that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with those things. I think what's wrong with those things when you're doing those things irresponsibly.
Yeah.
You can't afford that sports car. You're already in a relationship. So why are you seeking out the attention of these young girls? You know what I'm saying? Like you said, in the club with like people who are half your age.
That's so weird. I used to hate being in the club with this old dude, and he's clearly my mom's age. Like that was
Predator
so
vibes.
awkward. Yeah, it was so awkward, so weird.
Predator vibes. I don't know about that one. I was like, let's see.
I know we talked about it, like we don't really see our midlife crisis or whatever, or is it because women have been taught to push through things so much that we're not even aware of what we are kind of going through? Because we are always taught to, push through, you're a strong woman, you can handle this or whatever, you know. Are we so strong? I hate the strong black woman narrative, but if we're so strong, are we so strong that we don't even see our like I don't want to call it troubles, but our changes and our struggles?
Maybe like I'm trying to think of this quote, like I hear that like women change constantly,
Yeah,
but men only change through like these major life changes. Like it has to be something pretty drastic or pretty like, to get them to change. Whereas women are constantly changing. So maybe that kind of reinforces what you're saying. Like for us, we're constantly changing, but for them, it's like getting their heart broken or like going broke or, getting a divorce or, whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? For them, it has to be like a really pretty, like significant event for them to feel like they have to change. Whereas women, like our bodies change all month. You know what I'm saying? Like our bodies change from the moment they were born to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so we're constantly changing. So maybe it is a part of us like, hey, this is it. This is who we are. We have to change.
Yeah.
We have to change to survive.
I like that point that men change because of they're confronted with something. You know what I mean? Like they're confrontational, that confrontation forces them to change, whereas we just see it as continuous and we don't need that confrontation.
I do feel like a part of the equation that impacts like men and women is just that like, when you say midlife, you're like, okay, half my life is behind me. I have another half of my life in front of me. And I think whether you're a man or a woman, you're thinking like, am I set up for the next half of my life? Does my life look like the way that I want it to look? Because, I only have half a life next to get it together, you know what I'm saying? Or like, so I think for women that could be family, children, success. It could be it could be for either one of them. But I think it's kind of like a societal pressure to feel like you have it figured out by 40. Like, I think that people just assume that because you're 40, you're supposed to know exactly what you want to do and have a retirement plan and all these things set up. But when I talk to 40-year-olds, they're like, no,
we still figuring it out.
We figured it out. You know what I'm saying?
And I love the stories where we see like the actress from Black Panther who was in her 60s or 70s and that was her first acting job. You know what I mean? Or people that have these later in life career changes. Shonda Rhimes and who's the other one? Ava
DuVernay.
Yes, Ava DuVernay. Like later in life success. After 40. You know what I mean? So I think that because we have seen these examples now, we're not as scared about the second half because we know that the second half can be greater than the first.
Yeah. I always love when people have like second careers or second lives or like these second chapters, you know? Like I think it really shows that sometimes the best is yet to come.
Literally.
And I think it's good to have that in mind that like the best is yet to come. It gives you something to look forward to.
Yeah. Now, one thing I'm not looking forward to though.
She's like, that's all well and good, but let's be real. Yes, there's the other part of this.
Yes, and I think the one negative about this midlife phase that I'm afraid of is menopause.
Really? Why?
Yeah, because I think that I'm going to accept it. I think I'm in perimenopause right now.
Oh.
And it's weird.
Why do you feel that way?
I feel like it's like this female purgatory between periods and menopause. It's like all these little things like cycle changes not leaving, but they might be early, they might be longer, they might be later. Just like getting hot, not hot flashes, but I'm like, oh no, I need to turn the air down when I go to sleep now. You know what I mean? I never had to do that before. Or like just weird little things. Like I was with some friends at brunch the other day, and we were talking about perimenopause and like some of the weird symptoms. I started Googling it. Random, like your ear itching. What?
I thought that meant somebody was like talking about you.
I don't know, but like your ear itching, like when we were talking, I was literally scratching my ear at the same time, or like brain fog. That you know what I mean, the brain fog of it all. My assistant, if my assistant ain't handling it, I probably forgot. Like the different little symptoms, like the little small thing, like it's strange, but it's still not menopause. And then I watched my mom go through menopause. Them hot flashes are no joke. Like,
I know.
I'm not looking forward to that at all.
This woman at my job, she was like, I'm just having a personal summer.
Summer. Yeah, that's what she calls it.
Right now. I was like, oh my God, that sounds crazy.
It's like literally sweat. Literally sweat running down their face. I am not looking forward to that at all. I guess that is my midlife trauma thing that I'm scared of.
I think that I need to do more like research around menopause. Like, does your body ever stabilize like once you hit menopause, or are you just constantly going through like?
I think it depends on every woman. I think some people, like, I feel like I'm not gonna put my mama's business out there. She said I gave too much information on the previous episode, but I think that some people are just in it longer than others. You know what I mean? Some of them are quick, some of them are longer, some of them are more severe than others. I think it depends on your family history. But at the same time, I believe and I'm hoping and praying that at some point the hot flashes stop.
Okay.
Let us know. Do they?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't asked. I know that my mom was like, I'm just happy I don't have to have a period anymore.
Now I'm excited about that.
Yeah, my mom was like, it's fine.
Yeah,
she was like, I don't plan on having no
that.
kids. I just am like make the periods go away. She was like, so she was happy about that part.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm just not looking forward to like the hot flashes, the personal summers, the weird symptoms that come about. Like, I'm not looking forward to that.
I didn't realize there were so many damn symptoms.
It was like 34 on the list. It was like 34.
Wild.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah.
I think the other thing that people don't like to talk about for women is that, like, you tend to dry up a little bit more
that was
down
another
there.
one.
That was the part. That was of everything. I was like, hold on.
I ain't got that issue.
Hold on. What are you talking about? That happens during menopause? What kind of supplement do I need to take?
Right, exactly.
But that's the one that I think is the most scary to me. I'm like, because like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's going to deeply impact your sex life.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they have things for it, They
do.
But still.
To be reliant.
Yeah, we're the things that we're not. But I guess that's what men feel like at the same time.
Viagra,
yeah.
or that honey that makes them...
Oh, the gas station stuff?
Yeah, like the I don't know, whatever honey that they take. They sell it at the gas stations. And it's supposed to help them out. I guess that's their equivalent. Or our equivalent is like, I don't know, lube.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. But like going through it all, like I think that these next chapters and these changes, I mean, it's natural. Everybody across the country,
if you live long enough, you're gonna deal with it.
Exactly. But so we just need to figure out ways to endure, push through, and thrive through it.
How do you feel about it? Feeling like you had the symptoms? So was it like scary, or are you just kind of like, oh well, here I am?
A little of both.
Okay.
A little like kind of like initially. Like when I saw them little gray hairs pop up in this right eyebrow, and when I realized that I was getting like hot in the middle of the night, you know what I mean? Like it was like, oh my God. Like I was in the pool the other day. Somebody I thought that she probably was like maybe 10 years younger than me. I don't know. She might have been younger than that. She called me ma'am because she splashed me. She was like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Yeah, I know.
So a little bit of me is like, dang, we here.
Yeah,
we are here. Like you said, I still feel like young and fly and everything. I don't feel like what I thought 42 was when I was a kid. You know what I mean? But
right.
Yeah. But like at the same time, I'm thankful. Like you said, it beats the alternative. But at the same time, it's like, ugh.
I know. It's like, dang, how did I get here?
Right.
It's like I blinked and I'm here.
That part.
I blinked and now I'm here.
That part.
Yeah, I feel like I felt like that when I saw like a few like gray hairs down there.
Yes.
I
wasn't trying to bring it up, sis, but yes, now that you have, that was the first gray hair that I saw. That was the first, and that was traumatic.
That was traumatic.
Because I was like, well, did she age before everything else?
And I was like, I really feel like there needs to be like I don't know, just like a book that someone gives you.
Yes.
Like, hey, this is what you should expect, like, after 35 or something. I was
not aware.
I don't know.
I didn't even, I mean, of course it makes sense, but I never expected.
I never thought about it.
Yes.
I never thought about gray hairs down there. I never thought about it.
Right. And then when I saw, oh my gosh, the trauma. And then it was like, literally like, well, dang, did I put it to use too much? Like, what?
Make it age
right. She aged faster than everything else. But
yeah, I was like that. And so that makes you want to keep it like very low down there. So you,
take
like,
it all.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
take it all.
Low, if not, yeah. Like, yes. I don't want to see that. I'm not trying to see that.
Get Brazilians.
Let alone let somebody else see those hairs. I was like, you say you gotta cut those. Yeah,
I have a close relationship with my esthetician. Take it all off.
Yeah,
she's seen more of me than I've seen of myself.
It's like I'm okay with it. Just like out of sight, out of mind. Bye.
Right.
Bye.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes.
So, but that was scary, but I don't necessarily think it made me like have like a whole midlife crisis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. I think that body change, like it being more difficult for me to stay slim.
Yes.
Has been probably the biggest eye opener in aging. It's like, I've always been naturally thin, and then not being able to just like bounce back like I used to, and having to watch what I eat and watch what I drink and doing all that. And it makes you feel older because you're like, I have to have a level of responsibility and care for my body.
Yes.
Which can be just eye-opening. Like you can make it fun, right? And you can get into routine and, you know, do this and do that and feel fancy and all that stuff, and that's great. But it's just kind of like, man, I remember when I used to be able to just pop up and wake up the next day after binging and be like, let's go.
It was like, I'm getting ready to go on vacation. Let me do 25 sit-ups and up. There it is. There's those abs. They're back.
Exactly.
So
like,
I remember even in my like mid to late 20s, I was trying to gain weight. Like literally trying to gain weight.
Me too.
In my late 20s.
Me too.
And now here at 42, I am fighting for my life to get these 20 pounds off. Like, fighting.
My dad told me that when I was younger. He's like, why do you want to gain weight, Sabrina? He's like, you're going to be older and you're going to try again. I was like, well, I'm not there yet.
Yeah, literally.
I remember like, I'm not there yet. Because, you know, we were attracted to black men.
Yes.
And black men like it thick.
Right.
So
and I had nothing back then.
Yeah, I was not. I
remember, I know we're off topic, but I remember being in college and wearing like, back in the day, Victoria's Secret had water bras. It was like, not a padded bra, but the padding was like a liquid to make it look like a little more natural. I was barely a B cup, and I remember saying, as soon as I get a good job, I'm getting a boob job. I'm going to get, because I was barely a B.
Yeah.
Now I'm so happy I didn't do that. These double D's.
Can you imagine how they would have been? They would have been like.
So my advice to all the young ones: don't do nothing to your body, because you never know what's going to come up later. Because if I would have done that, and that's a struggle. So I say that to say I would have never thought that at 42 I would be struggling to lose weight, or you eat one thing and you gain 5 pounds.
You eat one thing and you see it on your body for like a week.
Literally.
You're like,
oh, you said a week. That's nice. Might be longer than that.
I feel like I make progress. Like I'm making so much progress, but it seems like that one thing. I'm like, where did all that progress go? It erases everything.
Literally, like I had lost like 7 pounds. I was feeling them stuff. I was like, all right, you know what? I deserve a little cheat day. I'm going to brunch with my girls. We're gonna have a little champagne. Blah blah blah. Gain 3 back.
Right. The next day.
Bam.
So do you weigh yourself every day? I do not.
I don't.
I don't either.
I don't. At one point I did. But then I stopped doing that, and so I do like weekly. I do weekly.
I don't even do that anymore. I try to do it like maybe a couple times a month at most, just to kind of check in. You know, but like
I'm doing it weekly now because I'm on this plan to try to lose this weight. I'm doing these workout regimens and things, so I'm trying to track what the changes are. So for
me, I was like, I don't need a scale. My clothes are telling me if I lost weight or not. I'm saying like my clothes are telling me you ate too much or drank too much this week, Sabrina. Like these pants are tight. This shirt is rolling up. Like that is like that's my like indicator. I was like, I don't need to step on the scale. The number don't matter.
Right.
Can I fit these clothes is what matters.
Exactly.
So I was like, but that's not a midlife crisis, is it?
No. That's just life.
Okay, it's just life and
yeah. I mean, I think that's just getting older, and that's why I said I don't think that we have the same thing. I think that we just have more of an awakening. We have a more of a awareness. I don't think that it's like an issue or a problem or a crisis. I just think that we have just it's just the next chapter. We are. They say that your body, you're a new person every 7 years. Like all your cells in your body, regenerate, and you become technically a new person every 7 years. Technically, I'm in this at 42. That's my whole thing.
I'm like, where am I in my cycle?
I'm brand new at 42,
Yeah.
but
Hey.
new girl, who this?
Yeah, who's that?
But I think that that's what it is. I think that we just have evolved more of a continuous change, not like a confrontational thing.
I know, and that's why like when people get married and stuff like that, like they'll say women change constantly, men rarely change. So like when you have these couples who are together forever, right? They're like, you know, you have to evolve with your partner because it's inevitable that she's going to change. And like you said, men only change if there's something like really drastic that really happens to them. So
yeah, I was talking to this couple, this older couple. They have been married for like 30 something years, and he was saying that he keeps having a new wife.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, my new wife doesn't like this cologne. And I was like, oh, I thought that it was no, it's the same wife, but this new version of her, even though it's the same cologne he's worn for 30 years, this new version of his wife, he calls her his new wife, doesn't like his cologne. So he knows, acknowledges, and accepts that she is changing and evolving, and he has to adjust to her new being. But the sad thing is,
I kind of like that.
I do too, but the sad part is, like, are they not changing? Are they not evolving? Or are they just not expressing their changes?
Oh, I don't know. I think that they probably don't change as much. I think they change when major things happen or when their body starts to change. And for them, I think that's much later.
And I think that
their body changes.
Yeah, and we're a lot more expressive about the changes that we go through. We're a lot more vocal and communicative about the things that we're experiencing, and I don't think that men have that same, not all of them, but I don't think that men are as in tune with themselves and as expressive with the things that they are going through.
Well, I think it's like very easy for like me and you, for me and like ex-woman who doesn't matter who it is, like we can have a conversation about cycles, periods, sex,
gray hairs popping up,
all that stuff very easily. I don't know, like I was talking to my sister-in-law about this. I was like, I don't know if men have that same kind of community to where they could express themselves like that. Like say they were having difficulties like down there in that department and whatever because they're aging, like you have to really have like a really good relationship with a guy to be able to express that and seek their opinion and not be like, you know, the butt of their jokes.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, so like, and I don't know how many men have that circle to be able to be vulnerable enough to ask like, hey, has this happened to you? Or I'm dealing with this without it being like flipped into something else. Like, I just don't know. Like, I don't know if people have those. I don't know, but I think that's kind of one of the beauties of being a woman.
Yeah, I love that sisterhood.
The sisterhood. Like, we could talk about this. We'll be like, yeah, girl. But you're right. So maybe they're not expressing themselves, but they also don't have the circles to express themselves.
True.
Could be part of it.
True.
I don't know. So them older men, come on, reach out and help them young men figure it out.
Each one teach one.
Yeah, right?
But I'd say, like, if you are going through a midlife crisis or awareness or awakening, let us know what it's like for you. If you're a little older than us, if you're a little younger than us, where are you in this new chapter of life? And if you are going through it, you know, I was doing a little bit of research and it was like, if you do find yourself going through a changing process in your life, 6 things to do is to acknowledge it, to self-reflect, to find what the meaning of that is, lose the guilt. Don't find fault in yourself. Don't feel guilty about focusing on yourself. You know, a lot of time as women, we feel guilty like, oh, I'm being too self-absorbed, or, you know, I have to worry about the family, I have to worry about the kids. I'll get to me later. Don't feel guilty about focusing on yourself through it. Keep a gratitude journal, writing that down, you know, prioritize your health because you can't pour from an empty cup, sis. And then lastly, tap into sisterhood like we just talked about. Yeah.
I don't know about them gratitude journals.
Okay, that's what it said. I have a journal that I occasionally write in, but I know it really works for some people. One of my good friends, she swears by her gratitude journal. She just lives a life of gratitude. Shout out to DaKiya. Like, she loves being grateful, and I love that for her, and it's infectious. But it's not for everyone.
It's really hard for me to be like, to sit down and do the gratitude journal. But I think I try to like reflect on like my life and being grateful for certain things. Like, I was having a conversation with this guy and he was saying, you know, like, you have all these roles, you know, like employee, wife, you know, daughter, sister, whatever, you know, like, so it's family, career, and maybe health, and health being inclusive of emotional, whatever health, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know, he was like, what I try to think about is like reflecting every day, like, okay, let me hit 2 of the 3. If I hit 2 of those 3 buckets every day, I am grateful for like things that like, okay, I was able to talk to my mom today. Or I was able to really kill it at work today. But guess what? I didn't go for that workout because of whatever. He's like, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm better at that. Like the reflections.
But I think that the part of writing it down, the benefit of that is being able to go back and look at it. You know what I mean? Ugh. The times when you're having those issues or having those tough days, like, oh, I remember where I was in that space. And I remember, you don't like that?
No.
Oh my God.
Hate that.
It's
I hate that.
Like, I remember one year at the end of every Sunday, I wrote one good thing that happened in the week. And so I had a little Post-it note and I would fold it up and I would write one great thing that happened the week. And then by the end of the year, I had this whole jar of memories that I could go back and look at. Like the one thing, I know it's cheesy, it was corny, but don't yuck my yum.
I'm not yucking it. I'm just like, I'm glad that works for people.
Yeah.
Like I will say that like whenever I find myself writing in a journal, it's usually because it's like some personal stuff going on and I just have to let it out in some way. So that's probably the reason why I don't want to go back and look at stuff, because what really propels me to write is like sadness. You know what I'm saying?
To get it out.
To get it out. Like that's the way of me like getting it out. So like once I get out on paper, I'm like, all right, put that away. I don't ever want to see it again. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think that's a different relationship with it.
Yeah.
I think, and another thing about gratitude journals is just like the discipline.
Yeah.
I always start them like, I'm going to do it this year. I'm going to like planners. I'm going to have this planner for this year. And then like 3 months goes by and I'm like, the planner has been sitting on the bookshelf. The gratitude journal is like collecting dust. This is not happening. Yeah. I just don't have the discipline for that. But everything else you mentioned, down with. Down with that.
Well, hopefully at least something works for you. Like you said, it doesn't have to hit all of them, but if something works and resonates with you, then you're doing good. All right.
Are we ready for game time?
I'm ready, girl.
Let's go. That was a heavy conversation.
That was a lot.
Whew, man.
Great.
We talked about it all. All right. All right. So let's go to game time. I'm gonna say so. First things first. First things first. We're gonna ask each other, or we're gonna state different topics for each other, and that person has to say the first thing that comes to mind. All right. So first things first.
First things first.
Okay, I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
Biden. First things
first. The best choice right now.
Trump.
Trash.
Politics.
Basura.
I feel like it's gonna be half of them. Trash. Basura. How do you say in Japanese?
I don't know.
Somebody drop it in the chat. Okay. Right. Technology.
A blessing and a curse.
Okay. Love.
Beautiful.
Weddings.
Gorgeous.
Marriage.
Tough.
Style.
Personal.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Favorite singer.
Ooh, Whitney Houston.
Ooh, Drake.
Clout chaser.
Oh, Kendrick.
Like the homie from the neighborhood. Like I feel like I grew up with him.
Will Smith's comeback, like this new comeback.
I'm unaware of it. He's
him at the BET Awards. He did a little song. He had the fire and a choir and
a fire and a choir.
Yes, he had a fire and a choir.
No, I don't know. Okay. I'm gonna say doing too much. I haven't even seen it. Trying too hard.
The Olympics.
Oh my God, exciting. Yes, exciting.
Janelle Monáe.
Oh, another doing too much.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
She does. Okay. I think there's something wrong there.
You do.
Incredibly talented, but to me, she teeters the line like, are you okay, sis? I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Social media influencers.
Annoying.
TikTok.
Temporary. I feel like it's gonna be gone. I feel like it's gonna be gone soon. Yeah, so I was
that's it. Agreed. Okay. All right, that's all I got, sis.
All right, well, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in this week. It's been a joy talking to you about this. And remember, please leave a comment, subscribe, like. We would love your feedback.
Absolutely. Have a great week. Make sure that you keep it cute, and see you next week.
Bye.
See ya.